Hey everybody, welcome back to MaryBird's Backyard Garden. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mary.
Do you like
How
that one?
could I follow up on that?
I know. I had it a little longer. Kind of give you... Anyway. How you doing, Mary?
I'm very merry.
Good.
I'm quite,
good.
Quite a merry little bird.
I'm very, very happy to hear that this summer, now that we are in the summertime.
We are officially in the summer.
We are in summer.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Let's dive in, Mary, to a topic that's near and dear to my heart.
What
Mary,
would that be?
What's new in the garden?
Well, Jeffy, I don't know, but you and I go out every morning to see if we could discover that answer to that question.
We do go out. I will say that. We enjoy our backyard and our garden.
We definitely do. Wow.
And, so it's, you know what's funny? We were just sitting there, and when we moved in, we were the only house that was built.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started building all the houses around us. And for how many years you could just see, you could look straight down the whole back, like corridor and see all the houses. And this morning, just kind of noticed everybody's put up landscaping and really,
it's
can't,
filled out.
It's all filled out. It's nice. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like it.
The neighbor directly behind us was in the backyard with his young family, their young family. And this was the first year I realized it was completely screened.
It is. You could hear them playing, which was great. Love hearing the little kid voices. Love hearing the kids play.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't see them.
No.
And that's kind of crazy.
Which is pretty exciting.
It hasn't been, it's been a little bit of time, but everything really took off, I think, this year. It's just
this year has
exploded.
Really grown.
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
well,
how much
not
it has
surprising to
grown.
me. We've got a green thumb here.
We've got a Nakoma crepe myrtle. That's the white one that's in full bloom right now. And it is just glorious.
It is.
It's beautiful.
It's very hard for me to get Mary to take credit for her garden. Just as you've noticed, she deferred. But yes, Mary, everything looks great. Hey, goof. All right, what else you got?
I'll take a few bows. I don't know.
Take a bow. Take a couple.
That helps.
Take a curtsy.
A curtsy.
There you go.
Well, I have been shocked at how many birds we've been getting.
We got some birds.
It is crazy.
Well, they found us. I think they know we feed them.
I think they are knocking on the door. They finished up that bird food as fast as can be.
Yeah. I might have to.
Pretty cool.
Have to find a little more of a budget-friendly bird food. No, they eat it fast. They go through. And we saw one feeder had 5 birds on it at one time.
I was just going to say the same thing.
It's crazy.
And then we had some waiting in a line.
We did. We had them in the waiting room. They were in the waiting room waiting their turn. That was funny.
It was great.
Yeah, that's great.
And we've had so many more cardinals this year, which has been amazing.
We do, and we know they travel in pairs. So we've had, I think this year at least 3 pairs out there, which is kind of cool.
And I think that shows up because the yards all up and down our area have developed and grown. They have a lot more hideaway habitat.
Yeah, they do.
Like
they do fly right into the bushes, into the covers. So it's really cool. It's cool. We love our birds, as you can tell. We love our varmints and our birds.
Our varmints. Are those the 2 brown varmints?
Well, we love our 2
varmints.
Doggy varmints, but we also like our other varmints that
yes, we do.
Cross paths.
Very
with
interesting.
Us. Yeah.
Well, we did get our summer solstice pruning on the fruit trees. Of course, this year the fruit trees are so small it didn't even take 15 minutes or whatever.
That's
it was
okay. Yeah.
Pretty quick, but I got it done at the proper time.
Good.
Very happy about that. We do have 1 apple developing on a Jana Red apple tree. I don't know if it'll be a good apple or a bad apple,
It'll
but
be a good
it's
apple.
fun
We're going with
watching
good
it
apple.
grow.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool. I got a pepper coming in.
You
pepper.
I know.
One pepper. And I don't want to steal your thunder. Let me see if you can talk about it. You pulled a bunch of beans off yesterday.
I did. You know what? I completely forgot to put that on our what's new list.
And they actually look like the beans, they weren't those foot long beans.
They
were crazy.
They are the yard long beans.
Yard long? Okay.
But what they are is a younger, I picked at a younger stage.
Ah, okay. These look more edible than those gigantors.
You are hilarious.
I know, just saying. They just look.
The gigantors, you just need to chop them up a little bit.
I know, but it's just they're giant. These look like.
Well, they're not like the kinds you buy frozen that are already prepared.
All right. Well, I didn't think they were, but at least they've got the look of a bean.
They do.
All right.
They are, yes, the yard long beans, which are great in our summer heat, have really begun to produce now. And the thing that I love about them, the blooms on the vines, the yard-long bean vines, are so beautiful. Mm-hmm. They're kind of a light purple, but what happens is it's sort of like a twin set. So you get 2 blooms, and then off of those you'll get 2 beans coming down. So that's another unusual trait that we don't see on the regular beans.
All right.
And I do think we have some dragon's tongue beans that are producing right now as well.
It'd be interesting to see those.
Well, they have the speckles. They're the ones that were green.
Oh, yeah, okay. I got you.
The little brown speckles on them. Yeah.
All right.
And so I'm quite happy about that. And we have the New Zealand, the Malabar spinach is growing so beautifully right now, and it looks lovely. I'm working up my courage to taste one of the leaves.
Come on, you're the adventurous one, not me.
First time to taste it. But you know what did happen that I was interested in? I was going to change over the raised bed garden from the spring veggies to the fall, and we got out there, and I was cleaning out all of the spent lettuces and things like that. And there was a Swiss chard in there, and I gave it a little tug. It didn't want to come out of the garden, so I just chopped it back to the base of the plant. And yesterday, while I was walking around out there, that Swiss chard is putting on the most beautiful leaves right now.
Oh.
So I think I learned something.
Okay.
Perhaps a Swiss chard, it could be a cut and come again type of a veggie.
Nice.
I might give that a try.
Did you just make that up, by the way?
No.
Cut and come again?
Nope.
That's not a made up thing?
No, that's not. It's a real saying.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you made it up. I thought it was pretty witty.
Oh, well, I do try. But
okay.
No, that's not me.
I thought that was you. I was going to give you credit, but I'll defer.
You must defer.
Okay.
But
yeah, it's been eventful. Very eventful. Everything's growing good. Lawn's growing good.
The lawn looks nice. Beautiful. Mm.
You kind of like it. It's doing well. It's doing well. Keeping it cut. Keeping it watered. Everything's looking good.
It is.
And it's not in. I mean, we're almost in July. It's in the 90s, but it's not like crazy hot yet.
No.
So that's kind of a nice thing.
It has been really nice.
Yeah, it's been kind of different.
This week has been a little drier.
Yeah, it has been drier, but it's not 100.
It's not 100.
It will get there, I'm assuming, in August. But
and the evenings are easy to get out into still, which is great. Yeah. I mean, sometimes June can be super hot already, but we've had a very pleasant June this year.
Yeah, it hasn't been bad at all. So it's been, let's keep it up.
I agree.
Well...
And it is time to slow down. That was one of my things, like what's new in the garden. We are looking to the time where it's time to pull back a little bit. People that live in a winter situation, their indoor time is usually during those cold, freezing months, right? Mm-hmm. And our indoor situation begins to happen during the summer months where it's just too hot to get outside.
That's true.
So we're heading into that right now.
Isn't that funny? A lot of the colder states, they're just now starting to get out.
They're just planting.
Just now getting in.
I've been very surprised. I've learned some little things this year. So a lot of the information says that you should have tomatoes, finishing up right now. And that could be true, but I've sort of noticed a lot of the flowers and veggies in our microclimate where we're on top of a hill, sort of. They seem to be a little bit behind some of the other plantings in our area. So like the crepe myrtles in Austin proper, they were already blooming. And ours seem to be fleshing out with the bloom now.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit later.
Yeah.
And so your microclimate does have a big role in your gardening, but I'm starting to get a feel for maybe our veggies could go a little bit longer than people generally describe.
Well, I know my tomato plant hasn't done anything out there.
Well, no, he got too dry.
I know. I messed that one up. But our volunteer one
is doing amazingly well.
But I think the volunteer one is getting water from your little water system, right?
The one volunteer is possible that it could have been a seedling that fell over from our neighbors into the wax myrtle bush.
Okay.
And he is sprouting, but he is getting irrigated from our automatic watering system. And the neighbor may be splashing a bit of water on him. I don't know, but the trunk on him has to be almost an inch around already. He's got a good healthy.
I may claim him for mine, and then I'll. I really kind of messed up on the other one, so try again. We'll try again.
We have the raised containers, and they do not hold the water as well as you think they would. Yeah. So
all right.
They require a little more watering.
Well, I might have to put them in the next one. I'll put them in a place where we have our little watering system.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Yes, I love that.
All right. Put that on my list.
Okay. At the bottom of the podcast.
There you go. Okay.
But I think that's all I have for what's new.
All right. Well, let's cruise, as we say, because it's summer. Let's cruise right into topic number 1. And what do you have for us today?
Well, you know that I love plants in the garden that are fragrant. And I look forward to them. Our sweet almond verbena has been an outstanding performer this year. And the purple petunias that have lasted longer than I expected. When you go walk out onto the deck in the evening, their fragrance just rolls over you. So strong. I love it. And they were a flower that was recommended by your mom.
Oh, okay.
All those many years ago. But so I do try to plant them a lot. But there's another plant that I've been wanting to grow for a while now. And it's called the kidneywood.
Kidneywood?
The kidneywood.
I've never heard of that one.
Well, it's a multi-stem shrub, but you could trim it so that it would be like a small specimen tree. It's actually a member of the pea family or the legume family. Let me look right here. I wrote it down phonetically. Fabaceae family.
Okay.
Its botanical name is the Eisenhartia texana.
So it's native. Is it native?
It is a native.
I'm going with native.
It's a native to the Edwards Plateau.
Oh, wow.
So that's where we are.
Yes, we are.
On our calciferous soil.
Okay.
But anyway, it is a native plant, and it's very pretty. Well, it can be scrubby looking, but you could encourage it to develop a pretty structure, if you're lightly pruning it and things like that. It's fairly fast growing, and it has a leaf form that the leaf form comes out, and then there are smaller leaves that are opposite each other that are kind of oval in shape. And you could have like 40 little of these alternating leaves. So, and they make an airy look to them. And if anybody knows what a mountain laurel looks like, they almost have a leaf structure similar to a mountain laurel.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a fragrant. So if you walk by those leaves and you kind of crush them in your hand a little bit, it has a vanilla fragrance that
nice.
Comes out. I don't think they have thorns. My one source said they did not have thorns. But then from the spring all the way through the fall, like if it's going to rain or something, it might be one of those plants that flushes out of bloom in the rain or heavy watering.
Oh, yeah.
And they're very fragrant flowers, and they have the vanilla scent.
Okay.
It's described as a vanilla scent to them. And they are, they're very, very attractive to butterflies and bees, and the seeds that they develop are really a good food source for the birds.
Wow, like all the things we like.
All the things
we plant for.
And also, they are the larval host plant for the dog-faced butterfly and the Arizona skipper butterfly.
Okay. I want to see the dog-faced one personally.
Me too. Well, the dog-faced butterfly actually needs the plant in this family to eat. It's their food source as well when they are coming out.
Okay.
So the plant is described as elegant and lacy, but it does have a drawback. And this, you might, need to consider this depending on where you live. It is loved by deer, and it's browsed by cattle and goats as well. But it's not toxic. It's not toxic to humans.
Okay.
And it also goes by the common name of the bee brush, which I thought was very nice. Okay. Once it's established, it's pretty low water. It's recommended by the Austin Landscaping Government publication. It could get to be like 8 feet to 15 feet tall. Mm-hmm. And it could also get between 6 and 8 feet wide.
Oh, wow.
It is deciduous in the winter, but it does grow from zones 8 to 10, which is perfect for our area. And you need to grow it in at least 6 hours of sunshine to get the blooms.
We got that.
We got
6 hours.
Plenty of it. Plenty of that. So that is the kidneywood.
I like them. Then we don't have one of those, correct?
We don't have one at this time, but
I bet they have them over at our place over there. That
it
has
could
all the
become a part of our little prairie, pocket prairie planting.
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
I know.
Never heard of a kidneywood.
A kidneywood.
That's a look. Yeah, let's look that one up. I bet they have it though.
Quite lovely.
Over at the water garden, because they have all the native plants over there.
Yes.
So I'm assuming they would have it.
We can look for it there. And then we have one other nursery that used to be called Red Barn Nursery. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it used to carry a lot of native trees and shrubs.
All right. Very good.
I'll have to come back on that one. Berry Hills.
Berry Hills.
That's what it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Looks like
it is
sounds like a really cool little plant.
So
Add
many
that to your
plants.
list. Add it to your
Isn't that
list.
interesting that are members of the legume family?
Yes.
So it is a nitrogen fixer.
Okay.
That's one thing that it pulls the nitrogen and keeps it along the roots in little nodules as it grows in your ground.
Okay.
So it is a nitrogen promoting plant.
Very, very nice,
good,
Mary.
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Beautiful.
Good for building soil, I believe.
Well, we always like to build our soil up here.
Yes,
MaryBird's backyard.
Now, I'm all a Twitter. I would like to know what might be in...
What? Where? What? Well, welcome to Jeff's Corner.
Yay!
Mary,
Jeff's Corner.
Guess what we're going to talk about today? Fencing.
Oh, well, that's a subject that I didn't know you were going to talk about.
Specifically garden fencing, not,
Absolutely.
big yard fencing.
Right.
And we actually have a pretty cool little fencing scheme that we put up to prevent our dogs from getting into certain areas.
Yes. Because
the fencing that we have, it's probably 3 or 4 feet tall, well, I'm able to bend it and make it so we can make it go around corners and make it, very aesthetically nice. And it matches what the form of the garden is. But just to go over a little bit of types of fencing you could use if you have your own garden. You could use chicken wire, which a lot of people do use. There's hardware cloth, which we kind of have against one side of the fence a little higher so the dogs don't attack the people servicing the house next door.
Yes.
Welded wire and deer netting. And I think we have what I would consider welded wire on ours. So the purpose obviously could be to keep out small animals like rabbits, raccoons, or deer. If you have deer in your area, you definitely want to protect it. I mean, a lot of people in their backyards, especially in our area, they probably don't. I mean, we do it because of our pets, to be honest with you. If we didn't have the dogs, we probably wouldn't have the fence up. There's not much. I mean, we have some critters, but we don't have deer that are jumping in our backyard. And some of the common heights, so if it's a chicken wire or a hardware cloth, they're generally like 2 to 4 feet tall. Welded wire is 4 to 6, and that's what we have. We have the welded wire, and I believe ours is about 4 feet. And then deer netting is usually about 6 to 8 feet tall. So you have to have that pretty tall because they can actually jump pretty high.
Unbelievably high.
And we've seen that.
Yeah.
You can also use wood fencing. So you could use a picket fence or a lattice.
Very
post
cute.
And rail, which is
yes.
right, or just a privacy wood fence. So the good thing about wood fence, so they're decorative. They give you some wind protection and they're pest deterrents. I kind of like the only reason I don't like the wood, to be honest. I like the way we have is because you can, from a distance, you can see through it. It's almost like it's not there. But I mean, you could make a nice picket fence if it's short. You could look through it. So their common heights on the picket fences are 3 to 4 feet. And of course, the privacy and the lattice are generally like 6 to 8 feet. And if you do that, you're really, you're preventing yourself from looking in as well if it's in your garden. So.
Yeah, like our little kitchen garden, it would be completely...
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see it.
We wouldn't see anything.
But it could be a good option. And then there's also vinyl or PVC fencing. So this is generally decorative, low maintenance, and it could give you privacy. It's generally 4 to 6 feet. A little more expensive, but generally is long lasting. So the wood is probably going to be the least long-lasting just because it's wood. And even if it's treated, I mean, treated wood will last longer, but generally the metal is going to last for a while.
Ours has actually stood up very well.
Ours has. We've had it for a long time. So that, the PVC is fine as well. Like I said, the metal, if you go like full on metal, you could do wrought iron.
Oh.
Or you could do aluminum panels. Now we have wrought iron is kind of what is, I think, around our perimeter of our yard.
Yes.
We have those fence. So it's durable, decorative, good for upscale garden borders. It's usually 3 to 6 feet. And then, I know Mary likes this one. The living fence.
Oh, yes.
So those would be like your hedges, your bamboo, and your espaliered. Okay, help me with that one. Fruit trees. Espalier fruit trees. Now we have some bamboo we've been trying to get going. We're still hoping for them. Not quite growing as high as we thought yet. But,
no, but our bamboo is contained.
It is contained.
I think that could be the problem.
I think so. Even though we talked to the guy before we bought it, it's fine. But I think, that seems to be a problem. But hedges and such, they're living fences. Of course, they're natural privacy habitat for pollinators. So really, in our case, like we talked to earlier in the episode, everybody's kind of grown out their borders and their yards. And so those are actually making a natural privacy with different types of plants and trees and such. Of course, the heights would be basically whatever they're going to vary. And if you trim it or not trim it, so it could be, anywhere from 4 to 8, whatever, it could be anything. And then you have electric fencing. And of course, that would be to protect from larger animals like deer or groundhogs. Common height on those is 2 to 6 feet, depending on the type of animal. The one thing on electric fencing, it is more of a setup because you have to ground it somewhere. You have to take a ground pole and get it in the ground.
And when you say that, it really does have to go.
It's got to go in there.
I think it has to go down to the frost line. Maybe?
It's got to go away. I mean, it wouldn't be
really
doable
far.
here. We had one in another place we lived, but I couldn't even imagine without somebody drilling a giant hole for us in here. But if you have a lot of property, I mean, it's definitely the right thing to do. And then the last one I had is a raised bed fencing or modular panels.
Oh.
So they're easy to install and generally used for small urban or patio gardens, generally 1 to 3 feet. And then you often integrate them with a raised. So those are the things, we've seen those where people put them on their decks. Have the little a raised bed, and then they have the modular panel above it.
Yes.
Just for some privacy, maybe on the deck or so. So if you're trying to prevent certain animals from getting in, so some of the recommended fence heights. So if it's rabbits you're trying to prevent, then the height should be like 2 to 3 feet, and then you want to bury wire like 6 to 12 inches to stop from burrowing. And then, so you got to get it down in the ground a little bit.
Okay.
Groundhogs, which I don't know, we don't have groundhogs, but who knows? That fence height should be 3 to 4 feet. Again, you got to bury it and angle the fencing outward for those. Deer, 6 to 8 feet. So for that, you need a tall mesh or double fencing. And I would tell you, I would, if you were trying to prevent deer, you probably got to go more than 6 feet. They can jump really high. And then dogs, which we have doggies, that's 4 to 6 feet. Ours is about 4. Of course, if we had a much larger dog, they could jump. Maybe you have to go a little higher, but generally they're going to see the fence and stop. And then if you're trying to deter cats.
Oh, fencing for a cat?
Which I don't know you could do. It says 5 to 6 feet with deterrence. Use overhangs or roll bars.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be really difficult. They can climb.
I was going to say.
I got to think it would be tough trying to. I'm not sure. Okay, my opinion. I don't know why you're deterring a cat, but if you are, that's whatever.
You don't want them to get into the bed.
I know, but I mean, it's like, that's just not a common, I don't know.
Right.
If you have even a pet cat, I don't know anybody just lets them, like a dog, let them run around the backyard. Maybe you do, but you have a feral cat or something out there, I guess. I don't know. I just thought that one was funny. Just some other considerations, like materials, galvanized or powder-coated materials resist rust, which we have those. And for visibility, like we talked about, open wire fencing allows sun and air. And then the solid wood, of course, is going to provide more privacy. And then really just kind of whatever you're trying to accomplish. Ours has worked well. Ours is.
Oh, it has.
It's done good, and I have liked the fact that I can bend it and kind of curve it and make it.
We chose ours because we could manipulate it and put it in ourselves. Some of the other fencing you probably need to hire.
You would probably need to hire. And the other thing, ours is doesn't require us to go far in the ground for the the little poles that hold it. They can, and they don't go too far. Trust me, they go maybe 6 inches in, but they don't need to go real far in. Some of the bigger fences, you're gonna really have to set the posts and stuff on those. So there you go, just different kind of fencing. I think ours has worked well. We have, I think, the welded wire about 4 feet, very pliable, and it keeps the dogs out.
It does.
So
if we had a very, very determined dog, it might be different. Ours are pretty amenable. Usually,
I agree. I mean, if it was a bigger dog and they were jumping on the fence, because we can't get the poles down that far, it
might be a different,
could cause issues. But for ours, our dogs are about 35 pounds. So, and they're good. So that's it. Jeff's Corner.
Great topic
on fencing today.
I love it.
There you go. Well,
we need our fencing. Another thing that I like our little garden fencing for is because we like to put up the bird feeders, and our dogs are bird dogs.
That's true. And they allow us to put those up inside of there. So when we have the bird feeders up, we don't have to worry about the dogs. I mean, they have a little bit of privacy, at least for us. So it works for us. But there's different types of fencing. I think that's kind of the key here. There's a bunch of different types. Just choose whatever is right for you. We like the ones we can see through. And honestly, the kind we have when you're on the deck or on the porch and we look out, you really can't, honestly don't see the fence part of it. We kind of are able to look through it.
It blends into the border. Yeah.
There you have it.
I like that. That was a great topic.
Well, thank you, Mary.
I applaud you.
Thank you. Well, what else you have for us? What other topic might you have for us, Mary?
Well, this topic sort of leads into what's next as well.
Okay.
And I was looking around for a subject to discuss for this podcast. And I ran across a type of gardening called chaos gardening. It's probably not a new way to garden or anything like that, but it's kind of gained in popularity.
Okay.
It was actually featured in a few displays at the 2023 Chelsea Flower Show.
Them Chelseas. Chelsea Chop.
That's what we've been doing. But it is a method of gardening that offers you some unusual benefits.
Okay. Chaos gardening.
Gardening.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay. So some of the benefits would be you can use up seeds that you have had in your collection for a long time. You're going to have a garden that is going to surprise you because you don't know what's actually going to germinate and what's not going to germinate.
Okay.
It's a garden system where you are in control of how much or how little you tend to it. You pull the weeds, you water, you fertilize. You decide what you want to do. So some people don't do anything.
Just let it go.
And some people tend it the same they would any other garden.
Okay.
It offers you the benefit of, it's going to attract a wide selection of pollinators, a wide selection of wildlife that comes to visit your yard because you're going to be trying new things and you don't know what's going to spring up. And also, so that's mainly it's for cutting down your work, and we are headed into the hotter part of the year. So this feels very attractive to me right now. We do have seeds in our collection that we haven't used up. And you just spread your seeds out. And I'm going to kind of describe a way that I learned how to do that.
Okay.
And you kind of just see what happens.
Let it go. Yeah. Okay.
And the other thing is what I'm planning to do is mix up veggies, herbs, and flowers.
Whoa.
Yes.
Getting a little crazy there, Mary.
You could decide that you only want flowers, or you want flowers and herbs, or, you're going to throw in veggies as well. It is like a chaos. It's chaotic.
But it is a seed-based process, right?
Oh, and that was another benefit, is that it offers you a way to create a garden that is not expensive.
Okay.
Not as expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it is
seed-based. I get it. So you're basically, okay, I gotcha. Sounds pretty cool.
And we have a lot of bare spaces in the garden that we can fill in. You do want to make sure that you're not running afoul of any of your neighborhood rules, which we're not, because our HOA we are following their guidelines and things like that. So what you also want to look for in your seed dispersal is that you're not going to be introducing any plants that would be harmful to the environment in your particular area. So we all try to do that. But what you want to do is collect your seeds and see if you could divide them by size. So sunflower seeds and bean seeds and peas and larger seeds are going to go over here in one bowl. And tiny little seeds like tomatoes and poppies and some of your other, I would put marigolds in the big seed category, and I would put, I'm trying to think of a very small seed. Poppy seeds would definitely go in the small seed category. Mustard seed would go over in the small. And then what you're going to do is, some people, because you have older seed, what you want to do is try to hydrate the seed first. So maybe you would soak them overnight, and then you would take them out and dry the seed on a paper towel. And then what you're going to do is you're either going to take sand or maybe a flour, maybe like a potting mix, and incorporate that into the seed so that you have a really good way to scatter the seeds all over.
Interesting.
So you're going to do that. First, you're going to start with the large ones, and then you'll move down in size till you get to the very tiny. When you get the large ones scattered, maybe you'll throw out your potting soil to cover it, or your garden bed soil. And then you'll move down, down, down. And then you're going to water. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to go out and be surprised at what comes up. You should look for, if this is a gardening system that is, you like it, you should probably look for flowers that reseed themselves or that will be perennial in nature. So things like your coneflower, or echinacea is another name for that, coreopsis, and your black-eyed Susans, those flowers are really good for this method. Your calendula, and we know larkspur. We have a large
that always comes
grouping of larkspur every year. Calendula, poppies, yarrow, and sunflowers. Sunflowers are great for this. And then you could mix in veggie, herbs, whatever you want to do in those categories. I do have a lot of veggie seeds that I'm probably going to try to use up that I've had for a number of years, and we'll just see what might surprise us. The thing of it is that if you decide you like a more tidy look, you could go in there and you could deadhead and trim back plants that are getting to be too overzealous and taking over their neighbors. Or you could let it go and just,
just go wild. Go wild.
Let it go wild.
Like chaos.
A chaos garden.
That's pretty cool. I like that idea. You're gonna try it?
Yes, I think we are going to get out there.
I love it.
Because we're not going to be crawling around. And I have noticed that in some areas of our garden where we put out the prairie mix seeds, we've had a large decrease in the weed structure.
Yes.
Oh, and I would recommend a Thai basil. Thai basil seems to reseed itself and grow so abundantly and smell so good that I would put that in my I'm going to put that in my chaos garden. But where we put out our prairie mix, it did tend to push the Bermuda grass back and push a lot of the weeds back.
Okay.
So that is
I like it.
What I'm looking forward to, which leads me into the upcoming week.
Chaos.
We're going to be trying to establish a chaos garden.
That sounds pretty darn cool. All right.
Yeah, right.
And you have a lot of seeds, I think, right?
We have a lot of seeds.
Seed collectors.
Yes.
We're seed collectors. Okay. All right.
And so I would encourage you to look up chaos gardening.
Okay.
I found mostly the same verbiage on all the different sites that I looked up. And really, this is called simple.
It's pretty basic.
Yeah, very basic.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it kind of might, depending on the seeds you decide to scatter, give you a cottage garden look or, it can do that.
Nice.
So that is my second topic of the day.
Very good. I like it.
Very good.
Well, that leads us into next week.
I know.
What's on the agenda?
It's called Chaos Gardening.
Chaos Gardening. Okay.
Chaos Gardening Central.
Well, I like it. It looks, sounds, but it's actually fun. You know what? We've done it a little, like not to that extent, but we put some stuff out and go, hey, look at that. That stuff's coming up or that thing's coming up. It's kind of cool.
And that's beauty of it. You could get right out there and investigate.
Yeah.
And part of coming up this week is I would like to get out and see if we could take more photos. That's really the fun part of it, and capturing the different visitors we have coming to the flowers.
Absolutely. Okay.
And I am definitely going to be putting out mosquito traps.
Please.
Yeah. It's that time of year.
Please and thank you.
So you take a mosquito dunk, you fill a bucket or pitcher with water, and you put one mosquito dunk per gallon of water and let it just sit very still wherever you decide to put them out. And they attract the mosquitoes. And then, of course, I think the mosquito dunk is a Bacillus thuringiensis, if I remember correctly, and it will destroy the larva.
Good.
I think.
Okay.
And so that's definitely on my list.
Nice.
And basically just enjoy gardening with the containers that we have growing close on the deck.
Yes.
It's getting to be that time of year where I'm going to be taking a little break.
Well, I think the chaos gardening sounds cool.
Gardening.
And it's, you got to enjoy, like we've talked before, you got to enjoy your garden too.
You do. It could get overwhelming if you don't put breaks in for yourself.
Well, and you can't be a perfectionist. I'm not saying you aren't, but I'm just saying you can't, anybody's out there.
I would like to try to be, but it's just impossible.
It's a living thing out there.
It's living.
And it can outrun you. I'll tell you.
And it does regularly.
Yeah. So I like that. I just don't enjoy it. And we like enjoying our garden. So,
but I will say this, even though I get frustrated sometimes having the maybe the weeds or the Dallas grass or something is growing abundantly where I get in a tizzy and think I don't really want it there. Sometimes it promotes the health of the plants that I am trying to grow.
Yeah.
They cover the soil. They hold the soil in place.
That's true.
They retain water in the soil, actually, a lot of times. And so I think when we put in the Esperanza earlier this year, and we put in 2 Pride of Barbados. And we had to remove roses for the rosette disease. And we disturbed the soil by removing the roses and then planting. And in that area, there's been a large flush of grasses growing and some other things that typically, it's like unwanted. But we haven't been able to get back to that area yet. And it's sort of been like a little nursery type growing system for the Esperanza and the Pride of Barbados because they have increased in their growth and vigor beyond what I would have expected. And we haven't been able to give supplemental water to them. Of course, it did rain. I don't want to take away from the rain, but anyways, so I don't know. It's all a learning curve.
That's what every day is
every day.
Something new.
I know, especially when we're talking fencing.
Well, okay. Well, awesome. What else you got? Is that it, Mary? That's actually pretty cool.
I like
it. We had a Kidneywood. We had some fencing, little chaotic gardening.
Chaos gardening.
Chaos gardening. That's pretty cool.
It sounds like a maybe a Jackson Pollock painting or something like that.
But when you see pictures of, and I know you found it on the Chelsea garden site, but when you see pictures of British gardens and gardens in the UK, a lot of it has that. They're very pretty. They have that kind of look, though.
Very abundant.
Lots of stuff, different things grown together, and so cool.
With your chaos garden, you're not going to have, like a lot of times in a cottage garden or something like that, they'll have the color grouped. So they'll have this grouping of pink, and next to it they'll have a blush, and next to it they'll have a blue. But with chaos garden, you're going to have your oranges right with your blue, right with your red. It's not.
Well, it's going to be interesting, especially if we're going to throw out veggies and herbs in the garden. So I'm looking forward to. We'll let you guys know how it works out for us. But I think it'd be great, if everybody out there give it a look, check it out on the internet and see what you can find. But it may be something that's nice and easy to do. You could do it in a small part of your garden. You don't have to take over the whole garden, right?
You could do it in a container.
Yeah.
It could go, it scales.
Yeah, absolutely.
As small as you want on up.
Okay. Well, very good. Anything else, Mary?
Good. No, I'm just loving the garden right now.
Okay. I like it. Well, as always, we thank you guys for joining us here at MaryBird's Backyard Garden. And we hope you join us next week. Mary?
Happy gardening.
Happy gardening. Until next week, here at MaryBird's Backyard Garden. Bye.